Unfortunately, what I've learned is that legacy media propaganda is very effective at making people believe things that aren't true.
What would an example of that be?
That I'm a Nazi, for example.
Right.
And how many legacy media publications, talk shows, whatever, try to claim that I was a Nazi because of some random hand gesture at a rally where all I said was that my heart goes out to you, and I was talking about space travel.
How terrible is that? Well, he's a trillionaire, so I guess that comes with the territory. Welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about Elon going after Soros, and this is real. He is doing the job of taking George Soros out, who has been, just in my opinion, a terrible man over the years. We're going to get into it here. I'd really appreciate if you'd like, share, and subscribe. It's a huge boost to the channel, totally free, and it's awesome if you do that for me. So I've got 3 videos to show you and a bunch of information on everyone knows about Soros, but on what Elon is doing to combat him. So let's take a look at the first video here. Here we go.
Soros actually, he is, I believe, the top contributor to the Democratic Party. The second one was Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
So, and Soros, I don't know. I mean, he had a very difficult upbringing, in my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. Getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and much other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity, or is it just the United States as a whole? I mean,
he's pushing things in other countries too.
He's doing the same thing?
Yeah. Now, George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. Famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is a Senate race, then a Congress, and but once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws, you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's like changing the laws.
That's exactly right. If nobody enforces the law, it's just like you just changed the law. And to what he said, nobody could do what Soros did in World War II if they liked humanity. You look at, put it this way, you couldn't give me all the money for all the money in the world. I wouldn't do what he did. Wouldn't do it. I want nothing to do with it. The Bible says, what will it profit a man to gain the whole world and give up his soul? That's damnation, and some people fully embrace it. I don't. I do have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to go through, but I want to show these videos because Elon gets to the heart of the matter. Let's take another listen to him.
There was a case where we saw one person was getting $1.9 billion sent to their NGO, which basically got formed about a year ago and had no prior, no prior activity. So they just stand up a NGO. The whole NGO thing is a nightmare, and it's a misnomer, because if you have a government-funded non-governmental organization, you're simply the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to, people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits. It's a gigantic scam, like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands.
We all saw this during the, the X-File, the Matt Taibbi dump. And, these guys, they are willing to use anything against us. They don't care about our rights in any way. In fact, $1.9 billion, they are just a scam. We saw these NGOs bring in 20 or 30 million immigrants, illegal aliens, and that's the entity that the government funneled money to accomplish this task. All right, I got one more, and then I'm going to give you some bullet points about what Elon's doing to destroy Soros, because he is.
It's kind of a hack to the system where someone can get an NGO stood up for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros was really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into $1 billion NGO. And a nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a non-governmental organization. And then the government continues to fund that every year. And it'll have a nice sounding name, like the Institute for Peace or something like that. But really, it's a graft machine.
And what are the requirements with that money? What do they have to do?
Just really no requirements at all.
So they just get grants and the government just assumes that they're doing good work.
I think a lot of people in the government know that they're not doing good work. But it's a giant graft machine.
So it's even worse than doing a bad job. They know they're doing a bad job, and yet they're using them as the mechanism to, steal tax money, to do whatever they need to do. So Elon Musk is going against the funding of opposition district attorneys. Okay, he's going after that in particular. Number two, high dollar judicial interventions. Musk has been pouring millions into state level elections to shift the balance of courts or power away from the left-leaning organizations. So he's spending millions on that. Third, the legal and financial counter offensives. Musk is systematically providing legal and financial backing to parties challenging progressives' causes, championing the Open Society Foundation's platform. Now that's Soros's baby. That's one of the vehicles he uses to corrupt society by putting in district attorneys who will not prosecute crime. You remember what Elon said in one of the first clips? It's like, you don't have to change the law. You just have to put somebody in who won't enforce it. He's getting fought on that front. And fourth, direct political lobbying and high-level alignments. Musk has used his political alignment with Trump and conservative lawmakers to reshape federal oversight by embedding his influence into federal policy circles. Musk seeks to challenge the tax-exempt status, government grants, or legislative pathways that Soros's Open Society Foundations utilize to influence public policy. So in all four of these areas, Musk is fighting for us. Now, I see videos and stuff all the time where people want to get down on Musk. Look, right now, all I can see is that the guy is doing good things. And far be it from me to begrudge a guy his success. Good for him. I'm glad he's doing this. I'm glad someone is taking the time to fight Soros. And, Trump has promised, too, a RICO case against Soros and his son. And it's absolutely necessary. We all know what they're doing, and it's evil. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and that you'll share it out. Totally appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful evening. God bless.